My 20th boyfriend, 20 meters, said that I was embarrassing him while I was giving birth to our baby. I, 24th, literally shat myself a lot while having a contraction. Then my water broke a minute after. My husband, 25 meters, helped the nurse clean me up. Then he helped hold me up as I delivered our son. Not to mention him holding everything together at home the whole time. And constantly being present and ready to help at any moment. That is all said to assure you that your BF's behavior is not normal and is not acceptable. You're not being silly. This is a huge red flag. And a big indicator of what his future behavior will be like in stressful situations. Please don't feel like you have to stay with him just because you have a baby together. You deserve better than this. 2/3 women S themselves when giving birth. So, can you only imagine if opted? Childbirth isn't pretty. Is beautiful bringing life in the world. But everything else is nope. A lot of fluids and stuffs. Can you stop shitting while you give birth to my child? You're embarrassing me in front of these doctors I'll never see again. I'm surprised your midwife didn't tell him to leave the room when he was acting like that. I'd hate to see how he copes with a crying baby. Keep your eye on him. Seriously. She said he was whispering. The midwife probably had no idea what he was whispering to her and most likely assumed it was supportive. That's honestly so damn sad. Op deserved something supportive in that moment. I'm so sorry. My child's father, who is no longer around much and I'm separated from, also acted as though I was embarrassing him. I screamed and screamed. My contractions hurt so horribly, like I was being stabbed over and over, and he just looked at me so rudely and literally left the room a few times. All I can remember of this day is mostly him making me feel like I was doing something wrong. I deserved better. You deserve better. Please get out now. Thanks for sharing this. Can I ask if he mistreated you in other ways too? And how did you go about leaving him? He actually started out normal. Over the progression of the pregnancy, he began to be intimidated by me and jealous. I'm very kind and nothing to be jealous of. He was insecure and started to be degrading. He used to call me out of shape and a W often. He told me I was wasting someone's scholarship money going to college because I was too dumb to graduate. This was in 2018. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in the winter of 2019. He would strangle me when I would call him out on his abuse. He secretly unlocked my windows so he could get back into my house when I tried to kick him out. There is so much more. He went to prison for the first year of her life for unrelated crimes and that's basically how I escaped. I honestly feel like I would have killed him or he would have killed me if I didn't get away. Edit. In response to the people saying I'm horrifying for saying I would have killed him, he also held me at gunpoint. Smothered me with a mattress. Threw keys at my C-section incision 2 days after surgery. And tried to run me over with my own car when I ran away after he hid my keys and phone. If I killed him, it would have been self-defense. I'm so sorry you went through all of that. Happy to hear you and your baby are safe now. My husband shushed me during contractions. No pain relief. A few months later, he got a kidney stone. And even with pain relief, he was crying out in pain. Karma is a thing. Edit. Thanks for the awards. I hope you shushed him. Edit. Thank you so much for the silver. Somehow I think shushing him doesn't quite come close enough. Give him the ol' kidney kick. Give him the OOOLD twister. Twist that dick. I'm going to disagree with the people saying he needs to grow up here. Because this isn't an immaturity issue. You don't insult and degrade your partner while they give birth to your child because you're immature. You do it because you're a huge fucking asshole, and you don't gaslight her about it afterwards because you're immature. You do it because you're a huge manipulative asshole. He's ensured that one of the biggest things you'll remember about that day is him verbally abusing you. No good person would ever do this. And I can't imagine someone being an angel up until this point either. I would bet there's more to his behavior. Even before this. Even if you're not aware of it. There have been other times where he has mistreated me. But nothing has shocked me as much as this. I'm beginning to look at him very differently. How he treats you now, if how he is going to treat your child as they grow up unless something changes. Edited for language clarity. I don't think so. I don't think he will wait until the child is grown up. They will be abusing the kid when they are small. It's a power issue. He will be one of those fathers that smacks a kid because they are not happy enough. As an adult child of a parent who saw his children as extensions of himself rather than as actual individual persons, yep. If Op's partner feels his partner embarrassed him, so too will their child in any number of, usually imagined, ways, and that child will suffer for it. He denies ever saying it. Holy shit. It's one thing if he fell apart in the hospital room because of stress. But it's a whole other thing to deny his horrible behavior days later. This is just flat out lying to you. You were there. You know it's a lie. And he still tries it. His level of disrespect for you knows no bounds. Do you really want this dude filling the mind of your baby with all his shitty ideas and behaviors? This is gaslighting. Which is another abusive behavior on top of the verbal abuse. The fact that he whispered it to her gives him the power to deny and hold power over her, all hallmarks of narcissistic personality disorder. Now he will call her crazy for lying that he said these things in the first place. I'm gonna pick up my other comment and paste it here, since it's getting buried. Though this is written about narcissistic mothers op, you should read every single characteristic listed here and self-identify how many of them he has displayed in your relationship thus far. Be honest with yourself. Rest assured if you stay with him, he will only continue to show the current ones and likely begin to display more of them. Get away from this horrible man before he starts doing this to your child. File a restraining order and take necessary precautions to protect and defend yourself and your baby. Parrish Miller. com/narcissists. HTML to further add to this. Narcissists do not take kindly to their victims wising up and leaving. He will either become aggressive and violent, or he will lay it on thick as if I love you, I didn't mean it, I'll stop, etc. If he does the second one, the cycle repeats until he ends at the first. Just remember that no restraining order is going to actually keep someone away who wants to harm you. Only you can do that by putting as much distance between the two, locking your social media down, terminating mutual friendships, etc. Learning basic self-defense and exercising safety, parking under street lamps. Have your keys out already instead of digging in your purse when you reach the car, etc. Always. Don't go shopping at night. Be aware of your surroundings. You may even want to invest in pepper spray if it's legal, or if not, buy a travel can of hairspray for the same purpose. Crazy people do crazy things when they are desperate. And we can't count on the piece of paper to protect us. This is really troubling. These are exactly the behaviors that my mom would do. She'd say terrible things to us, deny that she ever said anything, then bring up our accusations to others and play the victim card. And repeat. Growing up with it, it took me years to realize she was just psychotic AMD. There was nothing I could do about it. And our relationship was destroying my life. Half of my siblings don't even speak with either parent now, and my life is 1000x better for it. Congratulations on going no contact. You will find catharsis and validation over at r/Ray said by narcissists. Given that he's not apologizing, but instead denying it ever happened. I don't think this is going to get better. Sounds like the beginnings of an abusive relationship to me. Sounds like the beginning of gaslighting. Now that is gaslighting. Full-fledged. You're being silly, making the other person feel like they are overreacting to the abuse and making them feel crazy. Textbook definition of gaslighting. He's a piece of garbage. Oh. So that's what gaslighting means. Thank you. Kind stranger. One of my exes did that to me way back in school and downplayed it to everyone, so they thought I was the crazy one. Feels kinda good to put a name to it instead of he was mean to me, like actually purposefully hurtful, and then downplayed it and played victim and said I was overreacting. Yeah. I've dealt with it too. From my mom and stepdad mostly. Both were very abusive. One was sexually abusive and the other allowed it. Constantly gaslighted me. I actually didn't know that word for the longest time, and it is nice to have a word for what OT is so now you can call people out on it when they try to do it to you. Why are people calling this vicious man immature? Children become very upset and try to help when someone they love is in pain or not well. This guy is a fucking sociopath. Please op. I know you now have a baby with this guy, but it would be great and the best interest of you and the baby not to live with him. Hopefully he would quickly lose interest in the child and disappear. This is harsh, but I guarantee this behavior will progress to physical abuse. Please take care of yourself. Yes, a childish reaction would be to be upset and scared and maybe cry because you are seeing someone in pain and distress. Not verbally abuse them. My ex's sister has a husband who I didn't particularly like. He was sexist and immature and crass. But he was so supportive to her in the delivery room. She said she had an incredibly difficult birth that ended in an emergency C-section. And the only unhelpful thing her husband did the entire time was at one point break down sobbing uncontrollably because his wife was in so much pain and he couldn't do anything to help her. And nobody even blamed him for that. He was terrified that his wife and or daughter were going to die because the birth was so traumatic. Immaturity isn't the problem here. A total lack of empathy and obvious abusive behavior is. My wife asked herself during. And I had never been more proud of her. That made me smile. Your wife sounds like a lucky woman. I understand your sentiment, but I also think a woman shouldn't be lucky to find a husband like Opus. She deserves nothing less. You don't either. I hope you find a good solution. Are you in the US op? If so. If you'd like to message me, I think you can do that. I'm not very familiar with Reddit messages and shit. I'd be more than happy to help you look up shelters in your area or as a new mom myself. If you're somehow miraculously close, I'd be happy to help out. This is terrible, and he's a huge asshole. This isn't immaturity, it's emotional abuse, and I know it's hard and possibly impossible right now. But you've got to get out when you can. Thanks very much. I'm in the UK. I'm working to get away from it all. In the UK, you can contact your local citizens advice who will be able to advise on local help for domestic abuse. Or contact Refuge.org UK who have a helpline. Good luck, Opus. I don't know where you're from, but midwives here in the UK would have told him to shut up. You can't help what you do in labor and birth. It's primal and natural. He's disrespectful and I'd be having a serious chat with him about his behavior and how it made you feel. I don't need to know you to know that you did an amazing job. Well done. Mummy. Thank you. They didn't notice. He whispered everything, and if you weren't on the receiving end of it, you wouldn't really notice anything different. Sounds like he knew he was being way out of line by hiding it and saying it only for you to hear. I'm sorry you had to deal with that.